Hey, welcome to What the Flick, Scream, Season 2, Episode 3, Vacancy. Bibbs, Alonso.
Yes, and every episode this season is named after a different horror movie. So we started with A Noche did last summer, then we did Psycho, and now Vacancy, which is a little... does Vacancy even have that much of a fan base? Is anyone going, ooh, Vacancy?
It's set in a motel, and there's a lot of motel in this episode,
Mountaintop Motel Massacre. That's a much better title for a movie. Also, fun flick.
Vacancy has its fans. Is that the one where...
That's the
ending, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
okay. Some might argue that it's kind of ballsy to call an episode of this show Vacancy, but we're not gonna. No, I think things are picking up this year.
Yeah.
Although I really don't get the point of Tom Everett Scott on this show. But
what do you mean? You mean like you don't get like this big? He's red herring from a pup named Scooby Doo, just like walking into the film, except now he is a kid.
I guess. I mean, yeah. It just he seems such an obvious distraction that it's like.
Yeah.
It just seems like, I don't know.
Did you ever watch a pup named Scooby Doo?
I did not.
There was this character.
A character named Red Herring?
Yeah, and Fred always assumed it was Red Herring. He was like, oh, I know who did it. It was Red Herring. It's never Red Herring, except for one episode when it was Red Herring, and Fred actually lost his mind, which is why the thing with a show like this, especially like a serialized mystery, is that someone who is a red herring in one episode or even at the beginning of a show can then turn out to do it later because there's such an obvious red herring.
Sure, right.
So honestly, it would not surprise
double
me
distraction.
at all. It would not surprise me at all if Tom Everett Scott was totally doing this because, well, it makes sense. It's his
frustrated
hotel
that
room.
the Oneaters never took off.
Yes.
Yes.
He also voiced Booster Gold on Justice League.
Oh, that's right. I mean, why did I know that?
That's a great episode.
It's true. Anyway, so I think, again, I think I've said it before, but the show really understands that it's all about Audrey. And so she has kind of become the focal point of what's happening here because she is both investigating and dodging the investigation of several murders.
It's all about Audrey, and it's all about Bex Taylor Klaus, who is a really, really, really great actress. This is actually even the second best TV show with Bex Taylor Klaus on right now. If you're not watching Voltron Legendary Defender, start. It's great. But she is a captivating presence.
Yeah.
She's really charismatic, but she's very convincing in all different roles. You buy her as someone who is a victim. You buy her as someone who is a threat. You buy her as someone who is young. You buy her as someone who is mature beyond her years. She's great.
Yeah, no, she gives complicated teenager better than anybody else on this show, I think.
Right.
And is striking looking and attractive without being like pretty.
That happens a lot with like teen television where people just go in and just like generically attractive actor number 12. And Bex Taylor Klaus, and she's not alone on the show. There's a lot of other people who have a very distinctive look, but like she's very captivating. And I actually want to, if the showrunners are watching this, come on the show. We really want to talk to you about this.
I've invited them, so please do.
Come on down, please. But I really want to know if the plot twist that Audrey was involved came initially, was that part of the concept, or was, holy crap, Bex Taylor Klaus is amazing, we need to make her the focus of season 2?
Well, the season 2 showrunners are not the season 1 showrunners.
Well, yeah, but certainly they set up.
But she's revealed as Piper's sidekick at the end of season 1 before they came on board.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
So what are you asking?
Was this originally part of the pitch?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
To take that further. Okay.
Yeah. To leave that as the red herring and then control. I think that's an interesting.
That's a good question. We can find out.
I'm very curious because these things happen over time. Characters on shows sort of break out, become more popular than the creators thought. Like Benjamin Linus on Lost was only supposed to be on for a few episodes, then he became the main bad guy. So I'd be curious. It'd be very interesting to see. What else have this episode?
Creepy Teacher's back.
Creepy Teacher is back. Red herring number 2. Although that's another one where, if you look at it, it would make a lot of sense if he was involved in the first kill.
Having been a red herring in season 1, he could totally be doing it now.
Also fun.
And the deliverer of the flowers that were not from Jake. So the whole, that's another interesting, I'm amazed that we've gone this many episodes without the reveal of Jake yet.
It's interesting, and his body keeps getting moved around too, which is kind of fun. I kind of want to see flashbacks, just the killer, whoever it is, just lugging that thing. The guts spilled, got to spray that down.
Stream of blood. Yeah, I mean, like Audrey knows, I guess. but nobody else has been clued in yet.
It's almost like the trouble with was it the trouble with
Trouble
Harry?
with Harry.
Trouble with Harry, yeah, which is
moving the corpse around.
Great movie, by the way. But it's interesting because if you think about it, there actually haven't been that many deaths on the show. We killed like basically a random. Like a guy we met once, don't have any emotional connection to.
True.
We just killed a guy to keep the body count high, but really we've only killed one character we care about.
And let's face it, the second he's seen carrying a corkscrew, we knew that. You're toast.
Yeah, right? I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. So, like, you might as well have gone outside to investigate a strange noise or something.
While carrying a weed whacker.
But yeah, no, we really only have one death that really matters. And, you know, the thing with a slasher movie, as opposed to a private detective movie or like a murder mystery, is that usually in a slasher, no one knows people are getting killed until like the third act. Or if you do, you get killed right away.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Most slashers are actually about spree killers. They actually kill a bunch of people in like one night or over a weekend or something. Whereas a giallo or a murder mystery, where actually, there's a murder, everyone knows about it, everyone's investigating, people keep dying, whatever. So the Scream series, again, it makes sense that it doesn't feel like much of a slasher, but like it is unusual to keep, what's really going on this far at bay. Because again, the season's only like another 10, 12 episodes, right?
Right.
Yeah, so we're about a third into it. No one even knows there's a killer around except for Audrey, which I'm just curious, how long can they keep this going and keep it interesting? Because it is interesting.
You're right. I hadn't thought about it that way. The way this thing is structured, no one, Audrey's the only one on the show who even knows that anything's happening.
Yeah.
If anyone else is investigating anything, it's the path that gets them to Audrey.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Okay.
It's a neat little thing.
It is a cool narrative trick, and again, in a way to keep a show like this alive.
Yeah, no, the only way to do it, you can't do the same exact thing every single season. It might be fun for a while, but it'll get old and you don't have the legs you want. So you have to keep looking at it from a different perspective. That's why I really wish I could have seen a second season of Harper's Island. I really wish. That show is fun. I don't care what anyone says.
Are you doing that on Cancel Too Soon?
We're totally going to do. I have a podcast where we review television series that were canceled after one season or less. We're totally going to do Harper's Island at some point.
Good.
I love that.
Get it out of your system.
We got Muppets with this guy coming up.
You bring it up a lot.
I love that show. But again, the question is, how do you keep it going? And this is the way. You change the focus. Have it focus on one of the bad guys, one of the killers, someone else from a different perspective. Change the location. You got to mix it up.
I wasn't sure if Sheriff's Son's fandom of the Morgue podcast was going to take him out of my suspect category. I'm keeping him there.
Keeping him right there.
Keeping him right there.
Okay, good to know. Is he still your prime suspect?
He is still my prime suspect.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. We've got two, again, as I've said, we've got two glaring red herrings. We got Tom Everett Scott and Teacher Guy, who's an actor whose name I haven't caught yet. But I suspect it's going to be one of them, because having two red herrings means, there's probably... maybe.
Sure. Look, we're episode 3. My vote can totally change later.
Here's the thing. It's Scream, and in the history of Scream, only once has there ever been only one killer.
That's true.
Scream 3. So there's probably more than one. For all we know, there's a whole bunch. It's like they talk about internet chat rooms a lot.
Wait, there's only one in Scream 3?
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was like a brother-sister.
No.
Really?
Yes.
I trust you on
I've
this.
watched them. I've written quite extensively about the Scream franchise.
I thought
it feels weird.
I thought there was a brother-sister in there somewhere.
Can we talk about spoilers on Scream 3?
Yeah, that movie's like 10 years old.
Okay, fine. Skip ahead of it if you haven't seen it.
It's What's-His-Face from Felicity, right?
It's What's-His-Face from Felicity, and he's Nev Campbell's half-brother.
That's it. Okay.
So you're right, but there was only one killer.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
All right, it's fine. All right, and we're back. Okay. But yeah, no, so that's kind of the hallmark of the series. But what we've never done is more than 2. What if there's a whole bunch? What if this is that one Agatha Christie story where, I don't want to ruin it, it's just such a classic, but where everyone did it.
Oh, well, yeah.
How great would that be? Just everyone. And just finds out, oh, yeah, and then Noah stabbed this guy, and Audrey stabbed this person, and Emma killed this guy.
It would make Brooding Guy more interesting.
Make certainly. A lot more. Brooding Guy. God, when will something interesting happen with Brooding Guy?
I don't know. His cousin is blowing him off the stage.
His cousin is great. His cousin is woo, what a creepy youngin'. Let's. But seriously, he's just the Brooding Guy. When the person you kill in a murder story or any sort of serialized narrative is usually the person whose death is more interesting than their life.
Right.
And the Brooding Guy, I'm sorry, he's got to either do something really interesting fast or he's going to have a big target on his back because, my God.
Do we think vaguely creepy cousin suspicious or not?
Oh, totally suspicious, but if I were to guess right now, I would say suspicious, doing something else skeevy, ends up not being the killer.
That sounds like a plan.
That happens a lot. Someone like, oh, this person's doing something.
I'm committing mail fraud, but I didn't stab anybody.
Exactly. I had to keep the secret for some other reason, but whatever. Because again, him and his aunt just moved into town, but he was the one who wanted to stay, so maybe he has an ulterior motive, but I'd be a little surprised. Because the whole thing is, if he's the guy on the chat room, then he convinced those other people to screw with Audrey, and he's messing with Audrey, but he was totally planning to do that from another state.
Yeah, that's
no.
Even on the internet, that's a little.
Even on the internet, that's a little thin. So I'm not buying it unless we learn something else very interesting.
All right. So many questions, many mysteries yet to be unpacked. We'll figure them out later. Join us next week.